Everybody's being admitted.
Hello, everyone. Great to see all your faces. I see you're all trickling in. This is a really special day. My name is Taina Longin, and I'll be facilitating graduation today, along with Kayla. Kayla will be doing tech and YouTube. Right now, you have your friends, family, supporters who are watching you right now, or they will be watching the recording that you sent the link to them this past week. So excited to have all of you here. So we are really, really grateful to have you and move forward to become CASA graduates. And then you will be advocating for these amazing young people who are in need of your support, in need of your guidance, in need of your just awareness of what their best interests are, just based on compiling information, speaking with them, and connecting with the people in their lives. So excited to have you here. I'd like to let you know a little bit about what to expect in the next hour and a half. Your YouTube supporters are going to stay with us for about an hour, and in the last 30 minutes, you'll be meeting your advocate supervisors. During the first hour, you will get to meet the judge. Judge Zeidler is here to swear you in, so you'll be reading your oaths. So have those handy, but it'll also be in the chat. And then you'll get to meet leaders. After you get introduced, each and every one of you, you'll get to meet the leaders at CASA just to introduce themselves and to let you know what to expect in upcoming events and different things to look out for. Another thing I wanted to let you know is that there's some tech information that you need to be aware of. If you need help at any point, Kayla Escobedo will be able to support you. She should have her her information in the chat right now. And at some point, when you're swearing in, I ask all of you who are not graduates, like the advocate supervisors, the leaders, myself and Kayla, to just shut down their video, just to turn that off. And all of you who are swearing in will be unmuting yourselves simultaneously so that you could read out the oaths at the same time. Even though we're on Zoom, we will get this out and it'll be great. So it'll work out really well. And without further ado, I want to introduce Judge Zeke Zeidler, an amazing judge who's a big supporter of CASAs, has an immense amount of experience in advocacy and the dependency system, understanding advocacy and working within the dependency system as an honorable judge. So Judge Zeidler, I'd like to give you the floor.
Hi, everyone. As a judge and as a lawyer, I represented parents and kids for about 6 or 7 years before getting on the bench 23 or 24 years ago. So I've been in the children's court since the building here was built, and since 1992 as a lawyer, and since 1998 as a judicial officer. Welcome to all of you. Congratulations. Thank you for your commitment. Your family and friends have no idea why they're about to see less of you, but it's for the best volunteer opportunity in the world. And before we get to the swearing in and things like that, I think we have 2 classes here. What I love is I have a list of your names, but I have 2 groups. One is last name, comma, first name, and the other is first name, comma, last name, first name, last name. So my guess is you're from 2 different classes, and I don't know who from the court spoke to you, but while you have me and before the swearing in from your class and everything else, do you have any questions or observations from your training that you'd like to share right now? There's your chance with a judge. So for your family and friends, the reason why we have CASAs in Los Angeles County, although CASAs are nationwide, is that in LA, we have especially high caseloads for the lawyers and judicial officers and social workers. I have about twice as many cases as any other judge in the state. Our attorneys have more than they're supposed to have. Our social workers have about 2 to 3 times the best practice standards from the National Association of Social Workers. So the CASA is the one person who just has this child or this sibling group to focus on. They're an agent of the court. and they are assigned and tasked with being kind of the eyes and the ears of the court. Usually you are getting on a case to look into a specific issue. It might be education issues, medical issues, placement issues, and making recommendations to the court as to what orders are needed and services are needed for that child. One of the things that usually CASAs ask me is about what I want to see in a report. And the one thing I will tell you is that DCFS reports follow this statewide computer format and get very repetitive and redundant, as you will see as you are reading them once you're a CASA on a case. And the really nice thing about CASA reports, it's a very simple format. Here is what was going on with the child, here's who I talked to, and here's what recommendations I'm making for the court in terms of orders that are needed from the court for this child. So as long as you follow that format, that you've got an easy job in terms of reports to the court. The harder job is really talking to everyone and investigating the needs of that child. And you might have a case that's, you know, a small issue that comes up, or you might have a case that's more complex. At some point today, I'll probably hear from you about what you each do for a living. Some of you might have medical background or education background. Lynn Gabriel's smiling because she knows I'm about to tell you about a couple of specific cases that are, or one specific case that I had before me and I talk about because there have been newspaper articles about the child whose name used to be Dodger. So I had one story to kind of give you a sense of what a difference a CASA can make in a child's life. Is that I had a child on my caseload named Dodger. Dodger had been severely physically abused as a very young child, and no one knew if Dodger would ever be able to walk again, had limited mobility with the upper extremities, was in the hospital. First one CASA was on the case, and then CASAs changed, and the second CASA on the case attended all of the medical meetings and was visiting the child in the hospital. At some point when we were looking for an adoptive parent and a potential adoptive family was found out of state, she proceeded to start having that potential foster mother on even her speakerphone on her cell phone or a speakerphone with the doctors, listening in and making sure that she was part of the medical discussions. It was the CASA who was the one who identified a gait trainer and assisted walking device for Dodger that he could use to start getting, improving his ability to be walking. When we finalized the case, we did it by FaceTime before anyone was even using Zoom or anything else in chambers. And Dodger in the other state was on FaceTime, and the entire house had Dodger banners up. It was Dodger Day in that state. And we finalized the adoption. And the CASA continued to have a relationship, an ongoing relationship with Dodger and his foster mother. She, when he was about 10 years old, showed me a photo of him with leg braces on, walking a Tommy Hilfiger runway in New York. This is something that never would have happened for this child or been available for this child if it had not been for that CASA figuring out that there were things to assist him as well. The CASA has since passed away, but when I was visiting her with my husband when she had cancer, we actually FaceTimed with Dodger, and he was showing off the jerseys of some of the U.S. Paralympic ice hockey players who he had met because he was playing sled ice hockey and was on his way to Florida for a tournament. He sat in a sled with the hockey stick attached to the glove, and my guess is one day we might actually see him in the Olympics. That's how much he was into the hockey. You'll hear more about his CASA over the years because there's now a scholarship named after her. But that's like one extreme case of, a CASA really being involved in medical issues and making a difference for a child. And there's so many stories like that, big, and then there are stories that are small. And Lynn Gabriel, who's the head of the volunteers for CASA, I remember years ago when she had maintained contact with her CASA child and came and gave me an update about him years later. And so you are not that special friend and you're not a mentor, but to some extent, it's going to be very natural at times for you possibly to end up unofficially and informally having that type of a role and relationship with a foster child. So for the family and friends, when they say, oh, I can't do that today because I'm going out to meet my CASA kid, understand what a time commitment they're making and the difference they're making in a child's life doing the best volunteer work you can do. So at this point, we are going to be doing a swearing in, and the CASA employees are going to turn off their cameras, and I'm going to get my robe to make you feel really official. And in the chat, the CASAs who are being sworn in are going to see the swearing in oath, so it's a little easier to repeat after me. And when I say I state your name, you're going to say I, and then you're going to state your name. So I think we're probably going to a gallery instead of speaker at this point. And I'm going to have all of the CASAs unmute, the new CASAs to be unmute. And please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
Vivian Camby,
Do hereby swear or affirm
do
do
hereby
hereby swear or affirm
that I will truly and faithfully
that I will truly and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of court-appointed special advocate
of court-appointed special advocate
on all cases to which I am appointed,
on all cases to which I am
appointed.
that I will do so according to law
that I will do so according to law
and the policies of CASA of Los Angeles,
and the policies of CASA of Los Angeles,
and that I will always act in the best interests
and that I will always act in the best interest
of the child or children for whom I am appointed.
of the child or children for whom I am appointed.
Mazel tov. But before you mute, we do have one other thing to go. And I will say that I must be more and more trusting of CASA classes knowing how to open their chat, because I usually break that up a lot more than I did today. So I'm going to have you, we're going to stay on gallery screen. I'm going to have you raise your hand again because, oh, hold on, don't raise your hand yet. As court-appointed volunteers, you will have access to dependency court legal files and proceedings. As you know, these files and dependency court proceedings are confidential. You are charged with the responsibility of upholding the confidentiality of these cases. You are not to discuss these cases, nor to reveal the identity of these children with any persons other than those individuals who are rightfully involved in the case. This would include those court personnel, social workers, family members of the child, not your own, attorneys, or other professionals assigned to the case. So I'm going to have you raise your right hand again and repeat after me. And you can decide whether you're going to say swear or affirm. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear
to uphold the confidentiality
to uphold the confidentiality
of the information contained in the legal files
of the information contained in the legal files
and all other case information
and all other case information
that comes to my attention
that comes to my attention
during the course of my work
during the course of my work
as a court-appointed special advocate.
as a court-appointed special advocate.
Now it's really real. I'm going to have all of you mute, and this is the point where if we're in a room together, I would call out your name. You'd come up, I'd give you a certificate, we'd shake hands, we'd take a photo together. Then if you had the family or friends there, they'd come up, we'd take a photo together. The last time we did that in person, we were not taking the photo like this, we were taking the photo like this. So that's how long we've been doing this remotely. I do want to acknowledge that after I leave, you're going to have Charity, who you can see on the screen if you're in gallery view, speak to you. And Charity really has been a real breath of fresh air in CASA. The previous director was phenomenal, and I think that's a large part of why we have had so much more recruitment going on. She was the first press conference I can remember in decades about what CASA does, and there was more word of mouth going out about CASA. Charity comes from a real advocacy and activism background and really has taken CASA in a new direction with fireside chats on both educational, systemic, and controversial topics, and really leading CASA in a direction of really being an advocacy organization for the system in addition to just the kids. And I really want to thank Charity for what you're doing and make sure all of you understand who our current CASA director is and how wonderful and phenomenal she is. And she's graduating today. So that's why, of course, I had to mention that, because one of the things the previous director did was make sure that even the staff within CASA were doing our CASA LA training, and a lot, if not most of the CASA staff in LA actually have a CASA child on their caseload. But if you look in the chat, you will see that today is a special day. Charity Chandler Cole is graduating. She wasn't on the list. There's a chat to me directly. She wasn't on my list, but she took the national CASA curriculum and joined to hear the speakers. And I just have to tell you, you'll hear Charity's story, or you'll be able to Google her and read all about her life, but she really is someone who has taken her own life experience and put it to action and changing things for everyone. So on that note, I am going to call your name, and when I call your name, you are going to unmute, and someone might even pin you as the speaker in the middle of the screen. And feel free to tell me either what you do for a living or how you found out about CASA. And we will start with Fariba Benayan.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm kind of waiting for you to show up on my screen as speaker. There you are.
Hi.
Hi. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you find out about CASA, or what do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney by trade, and my goal in finding CASA was I was looking for fulfillment. And I think this is the path that I can put my academics, my personal beliefs into helping a child and set them in their path, and an easier path than what may have been.
And you left lawyering, or are you still lawyering?
I'm still a lawyer.
What kind of law do you do?
I do a civil general practice.
Okay, everyone, if you have questions about legal issues for your foster kid, you know who to go to. Congratulations. And you have an, oh, sorry. And the last thing you have to tell me is whether you have any families or family or friends watching.
No, I was a little shy to share it with family and friends. Now I'm feeling sad that I didn't.
Don't be sad. Just make sure you tell them all about CASA and recruit them.
I will.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Baquet, or Baquette. I get pronunciations for some. They don't give me others. I would have gone with Baquet.
That's okay. It's Bakewit. It's very Americanized. Hi, everyone. I am a podcast producer. I work in sort of the film and television industry. I heard about CASA just from some people that I follow on social media, actually, and wanted to look into it and thought it sounded like a great way to contribute to the community here in LA and work one-on-one with a child. So I'm really excited. And I just wanted to say hi to my parents who are watching, and I think my brother too, and my husband's watching from across the table. So
Are your parents local?
no, they live in Montana.
There you go. I figured, hi, mom and dad. Enjoy your weather.
Yeah.
I could guess, but who are a couple of the people you follow on social media who you saw about CASA?
One, her name's Bree Emery. She's I don't know, like an influencer type person.
Right.
But she had a CASA youth and posted about the experience, and yeah, so I checked it out.
Wonderful. Everyone in CASA loves Bree. So thank you. Congratulations. Maya Davis.
Hi. I'm not sure if who is watching, but I did send it out to some friends and family. Hopefully they're there. Hi, everyone. I had looked into becoming a resource family several years ago and what was involved in that. And this was pre-pandemic. And I had read stories and saw some documentaries, and it has never left me, the trials of these children. And I just kept thinking there's something I can do. There has to be something I can do. And I was not in a position to be a resource family and had signed up on CASA pre-pandemic and continued to get the emails until I finally took the step and realized there is something I can do.
That's great. You know, once you put out the feeler, they will not let you go. So there you go. For anyone who doesn't know, resource family is what we used to call foster parent. Now, whether you're a relative or someone who just wants to be able to take in kids, everyone goes through the same resource family approval. We have, because of the emphasis that's been done on relative placements, which has been really great, but also because resource family approval is almost everything that's needed for an adoptive home study, there's been a little drop of non-relatives just going out and offering to be foster parents. So resource family is another great way to be involved with kids, but thank you very much. Welcome. Debbie Mittman.
Hello. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you and to see everyone. I am a program manager at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in the Office of Research Compliance and Quality Improvement. And I have always felt that foster children need some additional support, and I always wanted to help in some way, and I didn't know that there was a way to provide some support until a friend told me about CASA, and I realized it was going to be a perfect fit. So I'm really excited to be doing this.
Great. You can be one of those people who, you know, helps get some understanding of the medical community about the needs of foster kids. Yes. And do you have anyone watching?
I have my husband who is here and providing support. Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. You know, he can become a CASA too. We have a lot of best friend teams and couple teams. I was an attorney when the very first couple got assigned to a kid together. The person assigning got in trouble, and eventually that couple actually ended up being together the CASA of the year. So, you know, keep him in mind.
He's here. He's listening to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kat Ramsberg.
Hi, I'm Kat Ramsberg. As you just said, I am in development for film and television, and I was recruited by a CASA named Ronco Fukada, and she's had a few CASA cases, and she said, "You're very organized and you don't mind when teenagers are rude to you. You should be a CASA." And and like Elizabeth, I follow a few foster families on Instagram, and they also spoke so highly of the program, and I felt like I learned a lot from their Instagram about the positive effects being a CASA could have. And so I looked into it, and here we are.
That's Great. And anyone watching?
No, not today.
Okay. Does everyone comment when you're doing Zooms about the photo behind you or not?
All the time. I've had people ask me to take it down because they found it intimidating. I just think he's really handsome and reminds me to eat less meat, which is why he's in my dining room.
You know what? There is nothing wrong with being intimidating either.
Yes.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Adela Seyuma.
Hi, I'm Awea. I don't have anyone watching. I also was kind of shy to send it out. I am also in development in film, actually, and I heard about CASA from an old boss of mine back when I worked at like an undergraduate career center on campus, trying to get people working in like community impacts. And they just mentioned that they'd had someone come that was a speaker once, and I thought it was really interesting.
That's great. What campus?
I went to school up Northern California.
Great. And welcome, congratulations. Thank you very much. And all these entertainment industry, it's amazing how much that's increased in CASAs as everyone's working from home, more so you all than anyone else, I think. Rachel Wiederhoff.
Hello, I am another entertainment professional. I work as a camera assistant, and my parents are watching from Madison, Wisconsin, and I actually found out about CASA sitting behind a city bus at a stoplight and just reading the advertisement on the back, and actually like very quickly pulled out my phone while we were still stopped and wrote down the URL and looked into it. And it just really felt like it was the exact right program for me to be able to get involved with my community.
Great. Did you say you don't have anyone watching?
My parents in Wisconsin, yeah.
Wisconsin, cheeseheads, okay.
Yes.
You know, the entertainment people are reminding me that there's a resource that I think a lot of judges don't know about anymore that we had heard about years ago for older teenagers heading into adulthood, a program, especially because you said specifically what you do, a program called Hollywood CPR. One of the two founders passed away a few months ago. I noticed her obituary in the paper. A philanthropist and a guy in the entertainment industry got together and created this nonprofit called Hollywood CPR. And they got the entertainment industry to donate all of the old sets and things to them. They got a airplane hangar in Playa Vista or something that they rent out all of this, and they use young adults to work there doing that. But at the same time, they're training young adults in the fields of, you know, gaffer, best boy, all those things, camera assistant, all those things you don't even know what they do. And then they actually are in communication with the unions to know where are the openings coming up and which areas are kind of people have left and help to place these kids into those positions. So if you're working with older teenagers and for the CASA staff, keep in mind Hollywood PCR. Thank you, congratulations. Annika Russell. We're now moving into the second class.
Yes, you pronounced my name perfectly. So I'm Annika. I work in LA as a paralegal right now, and I first heard about CASA many years ago when I was researching volunteer opportunities online, but I knew I had to wait until I was 21. So now here I am.
Great. And are you working as a paralegal in a firm or what?
Yeah, I'm working at the Adams Law Group.
Wonderful. And do you have anyone watching today?
Not live, but I'm going to make them watch it later.
The video, you got to watch the YouTube video. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Azusana Fabella.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So thank you so much for your time today. I'm actually at the airport waiting to get on a plane in 10 minutes. I'm in philanthropy, and so I get to deploy grants to nonprofit organizations to do wonderful work like CASA. I also first heard of the program through Ronco Fukuda. So Katrina, it's great connection there. And I really thought this was an opportunity to right some wrongs in our system. There's way too many children of color that have been separated from their families. And I thought this was one way to support reunification. Thank you.
A lot of training of judges, especially on disproportionality and implicit bias, and understanding that before a case even gets to us, it's already gone through all these other people whose own issues could get involved. The other thing to keep in mind is a lot of our disproportionality issues are on the back end, and which kids end up staying in the system longer, and keeping in mind, especially when you're dealing with the older kids, that it all lasts and carries throughout a case. Thank you very much. There is a bill on the governor's desk right now for something called blind removal, which the juvenile court judges of California, African-American court judges of California, all supported. The concept is that when they are making a decision as to whether to remove a child from a home, there's a committee that is given the information with name, race, zip code, everything redacted, who then reads that and blindly, without knowing all those things, is making the decision as to whether to recommend removal of the child. So we're trying many ways to make some real systemic changes statewide. Thank you. Lee Dominguez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Hi, tell us about yourself.
I am a retired elementary school teacher. I taught for 38 years.
You were doing the work.
I did.
What school district?
Montebello Unified.
Wonderful. 30, how many years?
38.
Wow. My dad had a clothing store at the Montebello Mall back then. I was actually on the school board in Redondo Beach, so I have a special respect for teachers. And do you have anyone watching today?
No, sir, I don't. I may ask them to watch the YouTube video.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Welcome. Mackenzie Radal.
Hi, yes. It's just me and my puppy watching. So if you hear him barking in the background, he just decided to start getting vocal. So my name is Mackenzie. I work at the American Lung Association in development. And I actually heard about CASA because I have been really interested in the child welfare system for quite some time. And so I was thinking about going back to school to get my master's in social work. I also considered attending law school. So I was looking into a few different career paths, and one of my friends actually told me about CASA, and it just seemed like the perfect opportunity for me to get involved.
Thank you. Welcome. Congratulations. You know, you can still do all those other things too.
I know, it'll show me which direction I really want to pursue, which I'm excited to kind of see all of the different areas as well.
Just keep in mind, you can make a difference in any area. My husband became a lawyer because Robert Kennedy was killed and he thought that making music didn't make a difference. Making music makes a difference. Ashley Serafis.
Hi, everyone. I'm a yoga teacher and raising my little ones as well. And I came across CASA. I was researching. My best friend growing up as a kid, her mother fostered children. So I was exposed to kids coming in and out of their home all the time. And I always sort of felt quite passionately about playing some sort of part, helping in some way. So I was researching different ways that I could be of help, and I came across CASA, and it's been such a blessing. The training was incredible. I want to thank our trainers. They are really amazing. And Charity in our one session, just so inspiring, so eloquent, such a great role model for us. So thank you. I'm really excited, really nervous. And I have my husband watching and my cousin here in the States. Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome. You know, the CASA training is so phenomenal that I've stolen 2 different parts of your training that I used to do, one that you don't do anymore, but this last time I was training new juvenile court judges statewide, I actually stole the values exercise for them. and it worked so incredibly with judges. So you've all been through an incredible training experience. Congratulations, welcome, thank you. Ryan O'Donnell.
Hi, Your Honor. Yes, I'm Ryan O'Donnell. I've been working for the past year now as a behavior therapist for kids with autism spectrum disorder and other related conditions. It's actually been a very eye-opening experience because initially, I wanted to work with children just to get a sense of if I can do it. And it was really sparked by my own childhood, going through the system myself. And so when I Googled, trying not to get emotional right now. So when I Googled opportunities to help children who are abused or neglected, I came across CASA, and it was like instant waterworks for me because it felt like, that was something that maybe I could have benefited from as a child myself. So it's very much an honor to be here and to be able to do this. So thank you. And in terms of, so anyway, this is basically me like testing, can I like almost stress testing myself? Can I deal with hard situations, right, with children? I very much do want to eventually like work towards becoming some kind of child psychologist or researcher. What else? In terms of who's watching, my mom and my partner, although my partner's at work right now. And yes, that's pretty much it, I think.
It would be wonderful to have a CASA training on autism spectrum. There used to be a wonderful staff member at the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges who, once her son was 4 and diagnosed with Asperger's, she actually went part-time and eventually left, and she started an incredible blog and or website at the time called autismmom.com, and just incredible resources for parents who are parenting kids with autism. So great resource with the percentage of kids in our system who are dealing with autism spectrum, Asperger's, etc. Everyone keep him in mind. He's a resource. Okay, welcome. Thank you. Congratulations. Hi to mom and partner. Yeah. Vivian Camby.
Hi, I'm a grants coordinator at Foothill Unity Center. I heard about CASA when I was interning at a residential care facility for children in and around the foster care system. So my supervisor was looking into it, so kind of vowed that as soon as I get the flexibility within work to be able to do it, that I would, and now I'm here.
And anyone watching?
Nope, got a little shy as well.
I love all the development and fundraising, and it's a really interesting group today. Thank you, congratulations, welcome. Abby Klein.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I still am an elementary, kindergarten, and first grade teacher for 34 years. And I've just seen through my experience as an educator how much of a difference a really strong advocate can make. So I really wanted to advocate for a child because I can see the difference that it makes. And so I had a friend who recommended CASA to me. So I am still teaching, and it's been my life's work and my passion. And I'm just excited to kind of add CASA to that work. And this afternoon, my husband is just right here in the room with me.
Hi, hubby. I have to tell you, depending on, some of us don't want to take work into our other activities, but, we have so many kids who need education rights holders, and so many CASAs who are their education rights holders who actually understand some of that system. So it's a real benefit to have teachers here. And where do you teach?
I have taught in Santa Monica and Culver City here in California, and I've also taught in Burlington, Vermont.
When I was on the school board in Redondo, I did a tour of one of the elementary schools in Santa Monica that was a dual immersion program, and it was just amazing. Redondo.
The school I'm currently at in Culver City, La Bayona, is a dual immersion school as well.
Culver City has Spanish dual immersion. Do they also have Japanese?
They do. Amazing.
Yeah, Redondo wasn't ready for it. Okay, moving right along. Congratulations, welcome. Last but not least, Eric Schroer.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for, I guess, appointing us today. I really appreciate your time. My name is Eric, and I currently work as a research analyst at the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. I found out about CASA because I'm close to some people who are former foster youth and kind of have gotten involved in some ways, or maybe attended events like the Foster Youth Museum that, are advocacy and art events. And one thing sort of led to another, and I met a current CASA. And once I met a CASA, it was so funny how there were so many people in my life who knew about CASA or maybe were involved in CASA in Ventura County. And so it just seemed like a really great way to develop relationships and kind of help an individual, or help some children in the system. So
And
really
in your work, you're probably dealing with a lot of people who are former foster youth. We used to have old statistics about the percentage of foster kids who within X number of years of them leaving the system were either homeless, incarcerated, unemployed. So it's just such a big percentage. And anyone watching?
No, I invited a couple people who are unable to watch right now, so I might share the link with them later.
No worries. Thank you. Congratulations. And last but not least, our grand graduate, Charity Chandler Cole. Where are you? Tell me about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charity Chandler Cole, the CEO here at CASA of Los Angeles, coming to you from my home office that my sons are actually going to take over, and I'm going to move to a different space. That's why the art and everything is gone. What brought me to CASA LA? Honestly, I found a good opportunity to get into some good trouble. But no, we have a positionality and platform like no other. And for me, it really made a lot of sense to come here and use not only my lived experience, having been in the foster care system and juvenile justice system, experiencing homelessness, poverty, everything we really advocate and fight against and for here, and really use that knowledge and lived experience and professional experience and apply it to an organization where I could actually see immediate change, immediate benefits, immediate opportunities to help change the trajectory of our children's lives. So I consider them all to be my sisters and brothers. So that's what brought me here. That's what's going to keep me here. And I'm just excited that all of you will be on this journey with us, that we'll be on this journey together. I have a little anxiety coming into this, so it's normal getting a kid and making sure you're doing the best possible job. And, even I was expressed to some, before, I do have worries about getting a little charity. Did not want to talk to anybody. I wanted everyone to get far, far away from me. And, I'm looking to kind of just do things differently and show up for my kiddo how I wish someone would have showed up for me. So very excited to be on this journey with you. I have no one watching outside of all my fabulous team members and staff here. My husband's in the next room, but he's closing a deal. So I'm gonna leave him alone.
Such wonderful former foster kids doing incredible things in the system. We have one lawyer in our courthouse who just got the National Association of Children's Council new Advocate of the Year award, who was a foster kid in my courtroom and is now a lawyer representing parents in our courthouse. I have another former foster kid who's an attorney for the county up in Tulare County, and within 2 years was doing the statewide case law updates. There's just so many different things. There's a former foster kid who does a lot of work, not necessarily Los Angeles former foster kid, but a lot of work. He was one of the people behind the TV show The Fosters. David Ambrose is coming out with his book about his life this week, doing a book signing. They're just, taking your experience and using that to make a difference is just so powerful and makes things so real for so many of us. On that note, I'm just handing it over to you and saying thank you to everyone. Congratulations. And I have to go finalize an adoption that I'm 15 minutes late for.
Thank you, Judge Zeidler. Is it my turn? Am I up next?
Yes, Charity. And before you get started, I just want to thank you for an amazing experience in training. You're not only our CEO today, but you're a CASA graduate. So in the room full of graduates and CASA advocates, you've really shown them a lot of different aspects of the role. When you were in session 1 in our class, you gave a lot of energy and life into the discussion that we engaged in, inspired CASA trainees to share their stories, personal stories, where we felt connected to the work, to the purpose. So wanted to just especially thank you for learning through the national self-paced process and also joining our own classes and adding life into it. So I'll pass the mic over to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to add, for me, it's important to be a CASA with you all. That way we know how, and I know how to show up better for you. And, hearing all of your remarks, I've read, the comments, I've read the interactions you've had, how you've responded to questions. And I've learned a lot myself. And I'm just super excited to be in this class with you all. And congratulations again to all of you. Our volunteers are literally the backbone of our organization, and we cannot do the work we do without you. The work our CASAs do really goes beyond just advocating on their behalf in court and in schools and other settings. You have the ability to provide experiences that affirm their worth and value in this world. You have the ability to empower them to be the best versions of themselves, despite what the world, statistics, and others have told and shown them they are capable of. Your role as a consistent advocate and even friend in their life is so important. And I am so grateful that you have decided to embark on this new and very rewarding chapter of your life. I do want to encourage you all through this experience to always seek out new knowledge and information, and to understand the cultural context and histories of the youth you interact with. I ask that you be intentional about knowing and learning about their backgrounds, the communities they come from, the historical, racial, and societal barriers, burdens, and circumstances they and their families may have endured that have brought them to this moment in time, so that you can make healthy and sound decisions and recommendations and build relationships that are not rooted in bias or made based off personal judgments and assumptions, well-intentioned or not, but are birthed out of equity, deep love, and care, with the goal of making them whole. Thank you so much again for stepping up to the plate to advocate and show up for our children. Congratulations for completing your training. I know it is intense, and let me tell you, that court report we had to do, it was a lot, and I have a whole new appreciation for our causes and the work we do, and I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Charity. I'd like to introduce our Outreach Manager, Angela Daughtry.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. I'm so glad that you have completed your training with us here at CASA. Welcome to the CASA family. I heard that some of you guys are shy to talk about CASA to other people. If you are shy, you can reach out to me. I will talk to anybody about CASA and recruit them and get them in the seats that you are just completed filling, and get someone else in the seats for us. So if you need anyone to talk about CASA, my name is Angela Daughtry. Send them my way, and congratulations, and we are so glad to have you. We need to fill your seats and get more people here. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, you all.
Thanks, Angela. Always bringing in the energy. I'd like to introduce next Marie Carpenter. Marie she leads development. She is one of the executives at CASA. Marie, are you?
Hi, yeah. Hi, Taina. Yeah, hi, everyone. Congratulations. Congratulations, Charity. Happy graduation. So yes, my name is Marie Carpenter. I am, my team and I, we manage our fundraising and marketing efforts. And as you may know, CASA LA is a nonprofit organization. So we receive the majority of our funding from individuals and local businesses or foundations. And all of this is to continue to support and sustain our advocacy work together. Also to recruit more CASA volunteers so we can serve more children. So I am here to tell you a little bit about our fundraising efforts and events that you can also be a part of now that you're part of the CASA family, CASA world. So when you're out in the community, what I want to ask you is, keep your keep your eyes and ears open for any potential partnerships that may help us. So for instance, and it doesn't have to be, I mean, it can be anything. So for instance, a couple of our CASA volunteers, their children dance at a local dance studio. They put on this annual recital, they sell tickets, but they donate all of the ticket sales to a local charity, and every year it's someone different. So our two CASAs really spoke to the owner and a committee and said that they should give it to CASA LA. And so we were chosen to be that. We went to the recital and spoke to a couple of hundred parents and family members that were there about our work. And then all the proceeds came to us, and there was a local family that actually was able to match, and that turned into $45,000 from a little dance studio from in a dance recital. So, something to think about when you're out there. There's so many examples I can give you, but I will not take much more of your time. Other ways that many companies that you may be working for, they do match and give programs. So they match dollars, but sometimes they also match your volunteer hours. So look into that if you don't know. And then you may also be working for a company or know someone that would like to sponsor any events that we put on ourselves. So I encourage you to look at that, and sometimes it takes an introduction, right? So they don't know us, they don't know what we can offer, but it takes an introduction from a trusted individual like yourself to do that for us. And this is also the same with our grant making, our foundations, that we may not be looking at. And actually wrote her name down, Azusana, who gives out grants, but I know she had to go and take a flight, so I will be reaching out to her to see who she works for. So finally, we talked about events, and we put on a couple of events ourselves. We have one coming up. It's called Wine and Art, and this is November 5th. This is a really fun event where there will be food and drinks and an art show, where all the art has been donated by artists, some emerging, some very well known, but also children, CASA children, and other children in the foster care system. They've donated this artwork, and it will be auctioned off. And we split the proceeds with the kids. And it's also a good opportunity for anyone to introduce your family, friends, to learn more about our work. And it's a fun night out as well. Well, actually, finally, we're very active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media. I know a lot of you mentioned that. So if you post a photo from today, please tag us. But we also, took a really nice screenshot. We'll be sharing that with all of you, so you can just post that if you like. And I'll also share all our handles on our chat. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie. I had you in my mind as Chief Development Executive, but you and Lynn reminded me Chief Development Officer. While you're CDO, we have our next speaker. Lynn is CVO, Chief Volunteer Officer. Would like to speak to you all.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone's face. I wish we were in person. You all are about to embark on an adventure like you've never known before. I was a CASA for 10 years before starting working with CASA. And I will tell you that, one of the kids, well, let's start with, you filled out your profile. And some of you may have an idea of what sort of kid you'd like to work with, age, gender, whatever. When I started, I wanted to work with an elementary school age girl. And so when I got matched with the 14-year-old boy, I thought, wow, I don't know anything about 14-year-old boys. And coincidentally, I got matched with three other, in the years that went on, 3 other 14-year-old boys. And it turns out I love that age of boys. I don't think I could work with a 14-year-old girl. And that speaks more about the 14-year-old girl that I was than 14-year-old girls in general, I'm sure. But I just want you to know that whatever you're picturing in your head is probably going to be very different. One, they're all my favorites in a different way. But one of the kids I worked with was 17, and he was cognitively 3 and verbally 2. And this kid was so happy to see me every time I went out to see him. We would dance together to Miami Sound Machine. It wasn't that long ago, but he loved Miami Sound Machine. So much so that I took a video. He didn't go to court because of his medical issues. But I had taken a video of him and I dancing to Miami Sound Machine so that I could show the court, because I wanted to make sure they knew he was a person and not just a name with all these comorbidities on his file. And turns out, it was very helpful. They really did see him as a person after that. But one of the CASA kids that I worked with, again, he was 14 when we started working together, and he left the system at 18. He did not want to stay in care at all. He just wanted out. He had been living on and off in foster care under somebody else's rules for most of his life, getting new rules every time he moved. And he decided he wanted to hop trains and be a hobo. And I learned that there is a very vibrant hobo culture in the United States. But he knew every train, when it ran, where it ran. He saw more of the country than I've ever seen. And he unfortunately passed away when he was 22. He fell out of a train car and hit his head. But I'll tell you, a couple of years before that happened, we hadn't been in touch for a couple of years. And he called me about a year before he passed away and said, I picked up the phone. I didn't know whose number it was. And I said, hello. And he just said, hey. And first of all, I was shocked because he could not remember my phone number to save his life when he was in care. But he had kept my phone number, and he just called to say, hey, he knew I cared about him. Like, he knew somebody in this life was going to be there for him no matter what. And so to me, that is the greatest success ever. You can't measure it on a scale. There's no outcomes for that. He didn't end up graduating high school, but that wasn't what was important to him. And I think as you go throughout your CASA work, there will be things that you think should happen. And then when you start working with kids, you may have an idea, well, I'm going to make sure if I get a high school kid, I'm going to make sure they go to college. And then you're going to get the file and you're going to read the file and you're going to go, your supervisor may tell you, let's try getting them to school twice a week before we move them into college. And that's fine, because you are there to help with whatever they need. But just know that if you are a high achiever, like many of our CASAs are, make sure you let your supervisor know that so they can help you create markers along the way so that you know you are making progress, because you will be making progress and you might not see it, which is why people don't always talk about being a CASA. So don't wait until you start meeting other CASAs to tell them you're a CASA. Tell everybody that you're a CASA, because as you all know, there are tens of thousands of kids in child welfare in Los Angeles County, and many of them could use a CASA. And they're just like you. And I want to thank you all for taking this on, and know that volunteer services and the outreach team, we're all here for you, even though we're emancipating you into the advocacy programs. We're still here for you if you have questions or want to bring somebody in, want to have us come to do an information session for you. And whoever the paralegal is, we want you to come help us at the conference at our booth. So know that you will not get away. Thank you all so much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Len. Thanks for sharing that story. Really brings it home what everyone's about to do and how important they are for the young person. So thank you. The next person who'd like to talk to you is our Chief Program Officer, Mika Khan.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see all your faces, and congratulations again. You're going to hear that a lot. We're so proud of you taking this next step. At CASA, obviously you're all coming in to do one-on-one advocacy and really, intentionally drive impact in your young people's lives. But something you'll come to find as you get on your cases and see different challenges or areas of support needed is that we do have specialized areas that we need probably additional support, which has led to us at CASA creating specialized programs to meet those needs. So while you're working with your young person, you'll probably be hearing about our youth justice program, our early childhood program, essential history program for those of you who maybe came through training to do that. And it's really great because it's allowed us to see the types of challenges and areas that need more support and create more support for you all through trainings, through resource guides, through partnerships. And so one of the things that I ask of all of you as you embark on this journey is, as you find gaps in being able to serve your children, reach out to me. We'd love to find ways to fill those gaps. And I know Marie talked about financial partnerships and ways to find ways we can fundraise more. I look at things from service partnerships. So I know we have a lot of entertainment industry, we have some mental health, we have education. Sometimes one of the biggest challenges you might run into is identifying supportive services that will get back to you on time or that really truly meet the needs of your young person. And that includes extracurricular activities. And if you have an organization that wants to work with our youth, that could be an added, direct partnership for us that would give you and more CASAs faster and more direct access to those services. Send those organizations my way and I'll make a connection. And we're just so lucky and happy to have you on board and part of our CASA group. And congratulations again. And Taina, I think I'm also going to introduce our advocate supervisors if I can jump into that. So one of the other things I do as Chief Program Officer is I support our Director of Advocacy, Christy, and our entire advocacy staff, which are mostly comprised of advocate supervisors. Now, each of you will be connected to an advocate supervisor who is going to be such a vital part of your CASA journey. One of the things we're proud of is the fact that you don't have to come in with a background in child welfare or social services in order to do this work. And each of you gets to be matched to someone who's really there to guide you and provide you resources and just be able to talk through some of the challenges you're having month by month. And so actually, I see Christy, if Christy wants to take over, or I can keep going.
I did just want to say hello to everybody and welcome everybody. I do have to, yes, you can finish. I have to head out to a meeting, but I wanted to tell everybody congratulations and welcome aboard. Our team looks forward to working with you guys and working with everybody and teaching you everything that we know. I always love hearing Lynn's story because when I was a social worker, I used to work with Lynn's CASA kid back in the day. So I've known Lynn for a really long time. And I too still talk to him. He is now allowed to be my Facebook friend. So we both are able to still keep in contact with him, which is a great thing, which is something that you'll see. And this was many years ago. But welcome aboard. Again, we look forward to working with you all. Your first line of contact will always be your advocate supervisor, and then it will be their managers. And then it will be myself, who is the Director of Advocacy, always available to answer any questions you may have, any concerns that you may have. We all support each other here at CASA, which means that you guys all get the, hold on just a second. We all get the, are able to support each other in many different ways. So, we want to make sure that you guys feel here at home and that you feel supported when it comes to working at CASA and doing your volunteer work. So again, welcome to you all. I look forward to being able to meet you, whether it's on Zoom or whether it will be in person. And good luck to you all in your journey here. And I will see you all soon. And again, congratulations.
Thanks, Christy. So I'll kind of take over from there. And like Christy mentioned, you're really going to be in touch with your supervisor most often on a regular basis, and they'll be able to help with your court reports. If you're having challenges getting a hold of social workers, attorneys, we've all been there, and we're ready to help you move, progress forward. And I'm going to ask the advocate supervisors really quick to all turn their videos on, just because I'm going to introduce each one so that you know the face before you move into your small groups to meet them one-on-one. But I see we've got John Tay Watkins. John Tay, give us a wave. Right there. We've got Shakeem Hale. We have Katarina Danton, Regina Cox, Tamara Bingham. Sorry, I'm going in order on my screen. That's why. Catherine Farina, Lauren Rodriguez, Maggie Egan, Jessica Gonzalez, Ben Miller, and Joseph Luciani Cervantes, and Chelsea O'Neill. And so you will be matched shortly with, in a small group. They'll tell you all your immediate next steps when it comes to getting matched and what the initial start of your advocacy is really going to look like. But please know that at every stage, we want to be able to continue to support you as you take this journey, and know you're not alone. And we are so excited for you to get started. So congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mika, and thank you, Christy, for speaking and introducing the advocate supervisors who you'll be meeting. So this is the end of our journey here, almost, before you get matched and before we end the stream for all your supporters and family who are watching online on YouTube. So Kayla and I wanted to say thank you. So I'll start, and then I'll hand over the mic to Kayla. And also I wanted to mention that Emily was a huge support in class and also facilitated Charity's training, and was a huge asset to all the things that we did during our 5 weeks together. And she's out sick today, so just wanted to say hi if she's watching in bed or something like that. So thank you all for all the time that you put into this work, all the questions you asked, all the effort you put into the court reports, all the curiosity you have about the young people in care, especially the young people who need a lot of support. May they be part of the LGBTQIA+ community, or they experience a lot of disproportionality because of the color of their skin, or any other needs that they have. Y'all had shown interest, even if you are very new to this information. And I appreciate you so much for that and putting the effort and the time. I do want to remind you to, in order to stay the course and to move forward and to not get burnt out. I know self-care is a hot topic, especially during the pandemic, but it doesn't need to be commercial. It could be taking care of yourself by drinking water, talking to a family member about the stress you're experiencing, just vicarious stress, just learning about what's going on with the family without divulging any information that's private and personal information. So keeping things confidential, and also just making sure that you rely on your advocate supervisors. They have a certain amount of people under their caseload, and a certain amount of CASAs, but you all are new. So they put even more attention on you all in order to keep supporting you as you get used to the role. So definitely reach out to them as much as you can during the business hours that they're working. And I just want to remind you to do that so that you could stay the course, keep moving forward, and do the role like you wanted to. And I want to pass the mic over to Kayla.
Hi, everybody. I know you're all looking forward to meeting your advocate supervisors and getting started. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to both classes. Thank you for being amazing classes and choosing to spend some of your time to be an advocate for youth and opening your minds to learning new things, like Taina said. From here on out, Taina and I will be putting you into the care of your advocate supervisor, who you'll be meeting right now. But also thank you to all of the loved ones that are on the YouTube stream. Make sure to go to CASA of Los Angeles's website. Check us out, see how you can help. And congratulations again to our new court-appointed special advocates.